I want you to take 20 minutes out of your precious time and consider this. You're born, you study, you get a job, you're married, you have children, you buy a house, you retire, and eventually you die. Now tell me, at what point of your life you chose this? I'm not saying this is a bad life. No, I'm not saying that. I'm asking much more uncomfortable question. Who decided that this is how a normal human life is supposed to look like? When you were 5 years old, did you think that you were going to spend the next 20 years of your life in classrooms? Did you independently decide that adult life is supposed to mean having a job? Did you personally conclude that marriage is something all adults usually do? Did you investigate and conclude that the next stage of the life was having children? Or did you just grow up among people who believed, who behaved such a way that these things looked normal? Now, here comes a very important psychological concept. This concept is called the cultural life script. Now, what is this cultural life script? This is a commonly shared expectation about the important events of your life, their order, and their timing. This is not a mere statistics. This is the shared knowledge of what a normal life is supposed to look like. You can know the script without even living it. For example, when you were a student, you might have seen a couple and a married couple and thought about that the day you were going to get married after getting a job. You might have thought that someday I'm going to marry someone, someday I'm going to get a job, someday I'm going to go to an office. So you knew the script, the probable script of your life, even without leaving that stage. So, this is the concept of cultural life script. We expect what major events are going to happen in our life without even living them. As I said, the script is not a statistical average. The script is expectation of how a normative life is supposed to look like. Now the question comes, who wrote the script? The answer may not be that simple. There may not be a single writer of the script. It may be your parents, it's your family, your friends, the school, religion, institutions, media, the society. Everything is secretly writing the script which we are going to live. This is where the matrix becomes interesting. Maybe there is no single author. Maybe there is no one sitting in a room and designing it. A system can reproduce itself without having a single mastermind. When you are 5 years old, you are told, study well. When you are 15, you are asked, what are you going to become? In your 20s, you are told, get a good job. In your late 30s, you are asked, when are you going to get married? After your marriage, you are asked, when are you giving us the good news? After you have your children, you are asked, when are you going to buy a house? Then, what about your children's future? The point is that these questions are not inherently bad. In fact, to the opposite, these are the questions that are the markers of a successful and a responsible adult. But why do we follow the script? Is it because of the belongingness, that if we follow the script, we'll be part of the group, or because of the approval? If we follow the script, we'll achieve things, will get approved by others, or because we think that deviation can invite criticism, or because of the identity, the roles that the script gives us: a student, a parent, spouse, employee. These give us a sense of identity in our lives. The point is not that the people are robots. The point is that social expectations make some choices feel so obvious and some choices so abnormal. There is one another concept, which is a psychological concept, which is called social clock. Like one, the cultural life script, social clock is not a biological clock which tells you what to do and when to do, but it's a social expectation which tells you which events are going to be in your life, in which order, and what timing. Because of the social clock, the concept of late comes in. What is being late? There are important life events slated for your life in particular order and particular time. If any one of them doesn't happen in time, we are called late. Like late to be married, late to get a job, late to have children. And when these happen, when we are late, we seldom think that I am living an unconventional life. We think that there is something wrong with me. And that is the most dangerous thing. Now, one thing about this script is that this script is not same for all the cultures. This script changes, varies from culture to culture, but it doesn't mean that every person of a certain culture follows the script, but it is there. It is very much embedded in our society. Here, I'm not saying that marriage is bad, getting a job is bad, or having children is bad. These are not bad thing. In fact, these are wonderful things, and maybe these are necessary things. The question is not whether things are good or bad. The question is whether you consciously chose them. I'm going to do an experiment with you guys. Those who are listening to me, watching this video, I want you to write down few questions I'm going to give you. So the questions are: number one, where do you want to live? Number two, what what type of work do you want to do for living? Number three, do you even want to get married? Number four, do you want to have your own children? Number five, how much money do you think is enough for you to live? Number six, what does success mean to you? Number seven, what would you do if you knew no one could judge you? Now, I want you to honestly write down the answer to these questions and ask yourself which of the answers are your own and which of the answers are handed over to you by the society. Now, who actually benefits when everyone follows the script? There may be number of benefactors. An employer is benefited by a predictable labor. The government is benefited by stability. Institutions is benefited by participation. Families benefited by continuity. Market is benefited by predictable consumption. So you see there are many beneficiaries when someone follows the script. But it doesn't mean that the script is written by a big entity, a single entity. There can be a system which produces the script and maintains the script without any single mastermind writing the script. Now, do you think the metric controls you? The matrix does not control you by telling you what to do. Instead, the matrix controls you by making you feel the choices you are taking are your own choice, where it is not. The choices are not your choice, but matrix makes you feel that way. Nobody told you to get married. Nobody told you to get a job. Nobody told you to get a promotion. Nobody told you to have your own kids. But the most powerful system is the one which makes you feel like you are choosing freely. And that is an ominous thing. So I ask the question again: who wrote your life script? But now, after all this discussion, I've realized one thing. We have been asking the wrong question. The point is not that who wrote our life script. The point is, would you still continue following the script even after knowing that this is not your own? That is the real question. In the series, we will investigate every nook and corner of the matrix and we'll find out what's in there. the coming episodes of this series is going to open your eyes. So I would love to have all of you following this series, The Matrix. In episode 2, we'll dive deep into more interesting things. Till then, goodbye.